All right, I just got a notice that I'm live here on YouTube. I haven't done a live in a while. I'm getting set up to do a little bit of honing here. I'm going to go get some nagura. Oh, look at this. Hello, Bibet. How are you? And Sean, gee, haven't seen you in a long time. So the goal today. Let's see, what the heck is this? This is a Majiro. This is Koma. So this must be Tenju. I can't read the stamps, so I actually have to write these things on the stone. There we go. All right, so my goal today, I just got this Vermont mottled gray slate. This is a very, very hard stone. And in conversation, I started wondering, whether this would be a good base stone for a nagura progression. And I've used nagura on a black arc, but a black arc does not give up any slurry. This stone, even though it's hard, gives up slurry, and it feels a little bit. It doesn't have the velvety touch of a nice a real Jnat, and it doesn't hone like a real Jnat when you use it as a finishing stone. But I thought it'd be interesting to see how it will perform as a base stone for a nagura progression. So I've got some nagura going here. The razor I'm going to use. Yeah, Sean, you have been MIA for a long time. Yeah, and also, yes, very nice. This is a very cool Vermont slate, mottled gray, very, very fine. I have a purple slate as well, and I don't think I've used a Vermont green. I certainly don't own one, but people lend me stones. I don't know whether I've used a Vermont green. I have used a mottled gray before, and I have used purple before. The mottled gray that I used before was not as nice as this one. This one is really, really dense. So the goal is basically do a nagura progression on this stone. I'm going to start with the 4,000 grit Shapton glass just to have a good starting point. Just to have a good starting point. I'm just going to really knock this edge back. The edge that's on here is a little less than a year old. It's about 11 months old, and it's the edge that's on here is a stone that Sean Staplefeld lent me. It was they called it the African Mystery Stone, and so that's the edge that's on here. This is, as I said, it's a Genco Geneva cutlery razor. It was probably originally 6/8. It's about 11/16 now. And this is it's a really nice razor actually, but not in the best shape. It could use some refurbishing, which I probably won't do. Let me go grab something to create a slurry. All right. So the goal here is what I'm going to do is put a 4,000 grit texture on the razor, and then I'm going to kill the edge, and then I'm going to bring the edge back and create a brand new surface texture on the bevels using nagura on the slate. And then if I can figure out how to do it, I'll show you a microscope image as the last part of the live stream. But don't hold your breath. I'm not convinced I can do that. But we'll see. All right, so we have 4,000 grit stone. Purpose here, this is already sharp. Purpose is to put a 4K texture on this. So I'll be knocking it back, of course. Not terribly concerned about. I'm pretty sure the razor is all. This razor had issues when I first bought it, but it's already been sorted. I've honed it 3 or 4 times since I bought it, so I'm not concerned with the razor. I know it's a good razor for doing these sharpening, honing tests. All right, let's make sure that I have some sort of an edge here. Yeah, 6/8 is Sean, I like Geneva cutlery also, and 6/8 is sort of a go-to size. All right, so I have an edge, and now let's take that edge away. All I'm doing is lightly, in knife sharpening, this is called jointing. All I'm doing is literally knocking off the apex and creating a flat surface. And as you can see, that was no pressure at all. I now have what I call, this is an insult, by the way, but that's eBay Shave Ready. It's an insult because there's a lot of good vendors on eBay who really know their stuff when it comes to honing, but it makes for a funny joke, so I use it. All right, we are ready to go. Let me move this aside. I'm going to put this underwater here for just a second. That's an old habit I've used for knife sharpening. I have come up through the years where, until I got to the Shapton glass stones, every stone I had required soaking. So until you got to the really high, fine grits, but really just about everything I owned required some form of soaking, and so I kind of like starting with a stone that's already had, a chance to soak up some water, because most of these natural stones, arcs don't, but most of these natural stones will absorb a little bit of water. So this is, don't necessarily need to, starting at 4K, but I'm gonna start with Botan. Let's see if this stone can even raise a slurry. So far this is pretty hard. There we go. I see something starting here. So I'm expecting this. The goal of doing, I'm not going to skip in the Mikawa sequence here. I'm not going to skip steps. And the reason I'm not is that I want to see, it's really more about creating a texture on both the bevels and the apex. What I hope will be an actual Kasumi finish instead of a slate finish, but we'll see. If this works out and it actually feels like a Jnat edge, then this is certainly a cheap way to get a Jnat edge using one of these instead of a very expensive Japanese natural stone, a 5+, 4.5, 5+ stone, just like the one for BBIT that I just evaluated. That was an awesome stone, but a little bit more expensive than this slate. That doesn't mean I wouldn't buy such a stone. I already have 3, so I know how to spend money. Yes, Robert, how you doing? Good to see you here. Hi, Rick. Can't believe. Okay, so here we are. Vermont mottled gray slate Botan slurry, a eBay shave ready edge. So this will, I'm gonna sort of overdo it with each slurry. I mean, it really feels like slurry on glass. This stone is so hard. Now I've done this, as I mentioned before, I've done this with a black arc, and it doesn't feel that much different on this stone, except that I know, having used this stone now, that this stone you can create a slurry with this stone. Not so much with a black arc. Yeah, I mean, the real reveal here is going to be at the very end. It's not so much can I get it sharp. I have some confidence that I can do that. The real reveal is, does it look like a Japanese natural edge, even though it's created on a slate? And then I guess tomorrow I'll do a shave test and we'll see if it actually shaves like a Japanese natural edge. If it does, will I be selling all of my expensive Jnats? Not so much. Will I be giving them away? Not so much. The experience, while this may end up creating an edge that's like a Japanese natural stone, the experience of the base stone is different. You get, in my opinion, if you want to have good confidence in getting a good base stone, you got to buy from somebody like BBIT, who's Easy Hone on eBay. You got to buy from somebody who knows their stuff, is reliable, doesn't oversell, uses the stones themselves, can tell you about them. Just effectively buy from a reliable vendor. And the last, I would have bought, I really wanted to buy that stone, VBIT, but there's no way. No way I need 4 stones of that value. Let's see. Oh, hey, congratulations, Sean, on getting married on Monday. That's pretty impressive. I'm catching up. The reason that you're not seeing me move is I'm just sort of catching up with what's going on here. All right, so let's see what we have. Definitely went backwards. Definitely. I barely have an edge. Wow. I think I think we need to get an edge here. The slurry on this stone feels really good. Yes, interestingly, tomorrow is the birthday of my best friend, soulmate, partner, and also the mother of my children. She will be officially old tomorrow. Luckily, she doesn't watch these videos, so she won't hear me call her old. So, Sean, best of luck. Nothing like a lifetime partner in your life. That's how you want to approach it, in my opinion. Otherwise, you may as well just play around. That's my son's approach to relationships. Yeah, Robert. Well, I've known my wife. I'm 73. She's going to be 73 tomorrow. We've known each other since we were 19. So, even if we didn't like each other over time, you just sort of grow accustomed to that other person. All right, let's. I now have a better edge on Botan. Let's see what Tenju is like. I'll tell you, that really took it back. This is one hard stone. Yeah, well, it doesn't feel like that long when you, Robert. It doesn't feel like a long time when you've lived it. But she and I lived through the last significant gas crisis, which most of you have not, and that's nothing to brag about. You do not want a gas crisis. But our fearless leader without thinking about it, because he does not know. I guarantee you, he does not know where the Strait of Hormuz is. Couldn't find it on a map if he wanted to, or if you asked him to. So I'm certain he was told this would happen, and he probably went ahead anyway. So we want an end to the oil problem. I don't actually care about the rest of it, but we definitely want an end to the oil problem. Yeah, that's right, Robert. You don't think about it. You don't think about the time, only looking back. All right, so here we are, Tenju slurry. This stone, I was using a fair amount of torque into the stone with the Botan when I started, and I lightened that up considerably in order to get an edge on this thing from the Botan. So the stone does not want, this stone does not want a ton of edge bias. Robert, you have a really hard Vermont, right? Wow, $6 a gallon. That's insane. Yeah, Sean, when you're a billionaire, you don't care about the common man. That's really true. I obviously am saying that from experience, being a billionaire. In dream only. I like to think I spend money like a billionaire, but I don't. I've never even chartered a private jet. I really need to get going on that. Might be good if I decided to travel somewhere, but I actually don't. I have zero desire to travel these days. I should go to France to visit my son. He lives there. Yeah, this is something I noticed on this stone before. The stone is flat, but as you go over some of these changes in color, you feel a change in the stone. But it's flat where I've been checking. It's flat. Let's see how we're doing with the Tenju here. So have you tried this, Robert? You have a stone like this. Have you tried it with a nagura progression? Oh yeah, I'm starting to get better here. All right, so I'm starting to come up the old sharpness meter. So we'll think I may not have done enough, but we'll go to Majiro. the feeling of the nagura on this stone is quite different than on a Jnat. But if you want, it'll be interesting if this works, because those people who want a Jnat experience in terms of shaving, if they want a Jnat shaving experience and aren't as are willing to give up the Jnat honing experience, then maybe this will work. I don't know whether Bebit is still in the chat or not, but as I said before, I was so close to buying that stone. He calls it the Hulk because it's green and large and I guess powerful. Yeah, I can build a slurry on this, but I have a slurry stone that works. I mean, you can see that not too hard to raise a slurry with this stone. So, Majiro, we're into the whole Majiro thing here. I'm gonna check the chat. It's easy to get carried away doing this and forget that you're live streaming. All right, let's see where we are. Oh, okay. So, Robert, you haven't done this particular thing yet. Yeah. Now, the worst part about gas prices, there are some things that can be done. We have some weird laws on the books about how petroleum is delivered to this country, and that can be changed so that we have we can purchase and receive oil in a different way. It opens up some danger, though, some terrorism danger. The reason some of those laws were put in place was to minimize the chance of terrorism. So we'll see how that works out. I think it'll be a stopgap measure at best if they revise or relax those regulations. And if they open up the strait, I don't think things will not go back to the way they were immediately. It'll take some time. I'm not an expert on this, so I don't know how long that will be. But we had a gas crisis in the very late 70s that lasted for 8 years, and you do not want to go through that. Rickster, who's on this, Rickster saw that. He's a youngster compared to me, but he lived through that. Oh, this is feeling really good right here. I'm using enough torque into the stone so that I can literally feel the surface of the stone and the cushion of slurry that I'm writing on. All right, let's see how we're doing with Majiro. It'd be funny if this looked like a slate edge when I'm done. Okay, grab a pink. Oh, look at that. Well, that's awfully nice right there. That's very nice. Okay, so I'm actually making progress. I was a little concerned when I did the Botan. All right, so we're going to go to Coma. Yeah, yeah, your dad could tell you about it, Robert. No question, no question. We had gas shortages, huge lines to get gas, incredibly high prices, and what you don't realize until you have a gas crisis is all of the things that depend on petroleum, not just gasoline for your car. You know, all the heavy machinery that does farming, diesel. All the heavy machinery that does mining, diesel. It goes on and on. Trucking, you know, all the deliveries that get done cross country, diesel. And if that stuff is in short supply, everything gets gummed up. It is no fun. And then all of that drove interest rates way up. We had interest rates in the sevens, as I recall, back in those days. You just don't want any of that again. Interest rates that high drives the housing market nuts. Everybody wants to sell, nobody wants to buy. Now Trump will have lived through that, but the problem is he grew up incredibly wealthy, and then he inherited his father's $400 million business, which he ran into the ground. And I'm not making this up. You know, you can look it up. He's not well known for managing a budget. He's well known for other things. He's a charismatic son of a gun. But he's the only person I've ever heard of. I'm a math science guy, as most of you know, and I've had quite a bit of probability and statistics in my world. And Trump is the only person I have ever heard of who went bankrupt running a casino. That's just, it's fathomable to somebody like me that he could do that. That actually takes skill. Yeah, let's check in here. What, Robert, what was it that caused what? Oh, the gas crisis? Um, I actually don't remember. Oh my God. I think you should Google it and then tell me. I think it was OPEC. I think OPEC. My recollection is that OPEC. We were heavily dependent on foreign oil, and OPEC turned off the taps or closed down the taps. They closed down the supply. They got together and controlled the supply, is what I remember, and I don't remember what forced them to do this. Um, so you can look it up. I mostly remember having to live through it. You know, as with now, not everybody is hyper focused on politics. Most of us are focused on what we're doing every day, which of course is honing. You know, that's the only thing you should be doing is honing every day. All right, I'm going to, wow, that made a difference. Thinning this out, I just started to really feel that edge right on the surface of the stone. Check in with the chat. No new chat. It's fascinating to watch this, isn't it? Hopefully most of you are tired and have gone to sleep. Oh, this was a coma. Feels really good. I'm really just riding the cushion here of slurry. Okay, next up, it's going to be a mix. Pretty good. I mean, it's definitely just falling in. I hear a little bit of noise, but definitely just falling in. Probably would get better with a little bit of stropping, but that's not the goal here. All right, so we're going to, I'm going to actually raise the slurry from the slate. This is, as I said, a very, very hard slate. It produces very, very fine slurry. So I'm going to mix slurry from the stone itself so we get some contribution from the base stone. Man, taking forever. Yep, this is the side that I rounded too. There we go. Okay, we got some slurry from the mottled gray Vermont, and now I'm adding some slurry from a very, very fine Nakayama Tomo nagura. So we'll have a little slurry soup going on here. Be interesting to see how this feels. I bet it feels great. Okay. There we go. Yeah, feels great. Yeah, just for grins. Hello, Dolomite. How are you doing? Yeah, nice to be infamous. You got to use slurry, Rick. It's just no fun without slurry. All right. So this is the final slurry that I'm going to use. Make sure I'm not moving backwards in keenness, and then I'm going to dilute this, and then I'm going to use soapy water, I think. All right, so let's see how we're doing. Oh, okay, so we're 100% pushing into the cloud now. That's nice to see. So let's dilute. I'm now approaching Rick's water only or no slurry only approach, but still a misty slurry there. I like using a little bit of slurry. It softens the edge. Really, nothing on the surface of this stone at the moment. Just a tiny film. Let's move, let's improve that. Going real slow so I can feel it. I already have BBS, and so I'm trying to feel what's happening right at the apex. I have just enough torque into the apex so that I can feel what's happening on the surface, and I'm not, for when I'm at this stage, I'm not super good at going quickly. All right, let's put some soapy water down. Robert, I'm not sure I would watch me hone, but thank you. One of the advantages of doing the live stream is I don't have to edit. This tells you how lazy I am. I'd much rather sit here and chat than do a video and have to edit it. Ooh. I've got a tiny Mystic Slurry in here, but man, oh man. I mean, I got a ton of soap, but man, that feels good. I'm definitely working on the apex here. I'm torquing so that I can feel the cushion of the soapy solution, and I can feel that apex moving through the cushion. I've got to move it. This is about the fastest I can move to feel this. It feels phenomenal, and I'm feeling exactly the same resistance. Feedback's probably the right word. I'm feeling the same feedback on both sides and from heel to toe. So I'm thinking this edge is pretty good. Of course, that's what I think. I've been wrong before, believe it or not. Well, dolomite, let's see here. So dolomite, it is expensive when you start buying a ton of stones. No question about it. But the goal of this video is to see if I can get, this is as base stones go, this is pretty inexpensive, this Vermont slate. So as base stones go, this is very inexpensive compared to a 5+ Jnat. And you know, if I can get a Jnat finish from nagura and an inexpensive slate, you know, that's for those wanting Jnat and on a budget. This might be a neat solution. Well, Robert, I think you're a bit of an artist when it comes to making the really inexpensive, ugly stuff work for you. All right, so let me Let me do a test here. If this is super de duper, then I'm going to go take a microscope photo. Sorry. Whoa. Yeah, so we're going to call that super de duper. Jesus. All right. I don't have a Vermont green, Robert. I have a Vermont purple, and I'll do a comparison between this and the purple, but Sean has my Vermont purple at the moment. All right. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go try and make an image of this. I can talk you through what I'm doing because I'm wearing my microphone, but the visuals will be even less stunning than they normally are. All right, so right now I have a large eyeglass cleaning cloth, so it's very, very tightly woven, that I wipe the edge of the razor off with, and now I'm mounting the razor in my little mounting system. I gotta wake up the computer, and we're kind of set with the razor here underneath the microscope, and bringing the microscope into way out of whack here. There we go. And we'll bring now I'm bringing the razor underneath the microscope. Now I'm doing that focusing thing. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, unbelievable. That is one hell of an edge. Hang on, I'm trying to get a nice picture for you here. Wow. All right, let me take a photo. Oh, I better annotate this bad boy. Okay, lots of typing there. Update our... Okay. So we have an image. Now the goal is to see if that image... I've got to get that image. Yeah, we have to save this. Getting there. Sorry to keep you waiting. We got my little filing system that I have to create, keep up to date here. What's today? 3/12/26. All right, finally finished that. Hopefully that has made its way. And we will, now let's see if I can go find it to show it to you. I'm back, hello. So let's, Hey Marion, how you doing? I'm wrapping up here. I've been live streaming for an hour. You know how that goes. All right, so let's. This is going to be odd, I'm sure. And I'm just navigating down to the photo that I just took. And hopefully it has made its way onto my shared server. Yeah. Folder's empty. It hasn't made it there yet. Crap. The folder made it. There it is. All right, so now we need to get that to update. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. So that's the final edge. Uh-oh. Anybody there? Did I lose you? Hey, Sean Staplefield, how are you doing? Did I lose you? Somebody type some chat, let me know. Not sure anybody can shoot. I may have lost the stream because I can't see any chat moving. But anyway, this is the final edge. I think it has a... Okay. Hey, Sean. Okay, good. Thank you. So this is the final edge. This is my slate edge with a nagura progression. I think that looks pretty Kasumi finish like. I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, it's not the densest Kasumi finish I've ever seen, but it's a super nice looking edge. So the next thing I'm going to do is shave with this razor. For Sean and Marion, let me go get the razor. Still on the microscope. Okay, so I've been honing, I've been honing, there we go, on this mottled gray Vermont slate as a base stone. I went through a complete nagura sequence, ending with a combination of Nakayama, Tomonagura, and my mottled gray slurry stone. That was the final, and then the very final, I watered that down to a very misty consistency, and then used soapy water to do the final finish with. I think the final edge looks pretty darn fantastic, if you ask me. There we go. There's our. There's what looks to me. Well, let's move it up here. There we go. There's our thumbnail for adding later. Yeah, I've been at this an hour and 4 minutes. Oh, so Sean, you've done this. So Sean, did you do a full progression? of Jnat slurry on the Vermont? Yeah, Robert, I'm looking forward to shaving with this as well. I'll do that tomorrow. I've already shaved today. It's late. It's oh my God, it's 10:30. You guys know what time it is if it's 10:30. I haven't had a drink yet. Um, yeah, well, even if it's crap, Robert, I'm going to tell you it's wonderful. Because I lie. So Sean, okay, so you did the full progression, and did it feel like a Jnat to you? A Jnat edge? Felt really nice and comfortable. Well, that would be a Jnat edge. This looks like one, doesn't it? It looks like a pretty neat Jnat edge. Okay, I'm going to sign off. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I enjoyed this a lot.